I think it's sinister. I think it's evil. And I don't think people understand we've come to this place where we grasp like...
Yeah.
Did you have that same experience?
Oh, mine was, well, I remember walking up.
Megan Fox and Machine Gun Kelly's fairy tale romance has completely shattered into pieces, and the timing couldn't possibly be more devastating. Just weeks after sharing their joyful pregnancy news with the world, everything has spiraled into complete chaos. And trust me, this isn't your typical celebrity drama. We're talking about serious allegations of infidelity while Megan was carrying their child. The whole situation is just heartbreaking, and I'm still processing all the shocking details that have emerged. According to TMZ, the drama exploded during what should have been a peaceful Thanksgiving celebration in Vail, Colorado. Picture this scene. Megan, 5 months pregnant, probably dreaming of a cozy romantic holiday with her man in the mountains. But oh honey, what happened instead will absolutely make your jaw drop. She apparently discovered something so shocking on MGK's phone that it changed everything. Sources close to the Daily Mail have been spilling all the piping hot tea, revealing that Megan's suspicions hadn't just come out of nowhere. She'd been noticing red flags, particularly that MGK had been texting multiple women. But this time, instead of just wondering and worrying, she decided to dig deeper and find concrete proof. And let me tell you, what she uncovered was absolutely earth-shattering.
I know all the fighters and their backstories, and I've been into it for a few years now. He likes it, but I'm definitely the one that's more obsessed with it. I was actually at the Conor Khabib fight a couple of years ago when all of that chaos happened and everyone had to run. We had to like escape when they started jumping the ring. I don't know if you guys remember that.
The moment Megan found what she was looking for, everything exploded. Can you believe she actually forced MGK to pack his bags and leave their romantic mountain getaway right then and there? The audacity of this man, it's just beyond comprehension. They haven't been spotted together since. And honestly, after what I'm about to tell you, I'm not surprised at all. But here's what really makes my blood boil. MGK's absolutely disgusting attitude about the whole situation. Sources close to the couple revealed that he actually thought Megan's pregnancy would trap her in the relationship. The absolute nerve of this man. He genuinely believed that just because she was carrying their child, she would stick around no matter what kind of behavior he displayed. Talk about toxic masculinity at its finest. When you really think about it, maybe we should have seen this train wreck coming from a mile away. Their love story, which began on the set of Midnight in the Switchgrass back in 2020, was always intense and, let's be honest, a little concerning. Megan was completely swept up in it all, describing their connection as twin flames during that now famous Glamour UK interview. She talked about this mysterious, inexplicable pull she felt toward him, like the universe itself had brought them together. And MGK's response to their first meeting? Well, that should have been our first clue that something wasn't quite right.
With like ego death or all, whatever, you know, like what you said. But there's also the aspect which I learned, which is like, you can unlock, this is clearly how so many people, especially, you know, down there in South America, like that root for sure.
Claiming, I mean seriously, who responds to "you smell like weed" with "I am weed"? Only MGK could think that was somehow romantic. Their entire relationship read like some dark, twisted romance novel that went completely off the rails. Remember all that bizarre blood-drinking business? Megan actually had to come out and explain that whole situation because people were legitimately concerned. She tried to downplay it, saying, "It's just a few drops," and claiming it was only for ritual purposes. But honestly, that explanation just made everything sound even more disturbing. And let me spill some serious tea. Megan's friends saw right through MGK from the very beginning. They absolutely couldn't stand him, and now it's crystal clear that their instincts were spot on. One source close to Megan's inner circle revealed that they've been worried about this exact scenario playing out for years. The whole relationship was like watching a high school drama unfold, but with much higher stakes and way more public scrutiny.
That was Cameron that did it, and you send him
I have this thing in my life where I just like run everyone away that loves me. And so Cameron loves me, and I have this thing where I was like, you can't love me too much, because I'm gonna run you away. I'm gonna snap. And so I would always call Cameron, and he would always answer, and he would kind of just...
The source wasn't exaggerating when they described how everything would seem perfect for weeks or months at a time, but when they fought, oh my goodness, it was like watching a nuclear explosion in slow motion. The constant cycle of breaking up and making up was enough to give anyone emotional whiplash. Remember that totally over-the-top engagement in January 2022? MGK pulled out all the stops with this stunning custom emerald and diamond ring, making this grand gesture under a banyan tree. And naturally, they just had to celebrate with, you guessed it, more blood drinking, because apparently that's just what passes for romance in their world. But February 2023, that's when everything really started crumbling apart in the most spectacular way possible. What began as a seemingly normal Super Bowl party appearance quickly transformed into this massive social media spectacle that had everyone's group chats blowing up. Megan dropped this absolute bomb on Instagram, quoting Beyoncé's Pray You Catch Me, and we all know what that song is about. The way she wrote, "You can taste the dishonesty, it's all over your breath," just sent chills down everyone's spine. But she wasn't done there. Oh no. She went on this epic deletion spree, erasing every single trace of MGK from her social media like he never existed, unfollowing him completely, and then, this is the part that had me screaming, she only followed 3 people, including Eminem, MGK's longtime rival. The level of shade was absolutely astronomical.
Can be a lot of different things and a lot of different people at any given moment, but he has a really pure soul. And he can be very vulnerable, which is what I think you experienced that day, where there was a breakthrough where he wasn't behind his ego and he was just like, I'm hurting today and I don't feel proud of myself today. And I think that's probably what really spoke to you, right? Is that you got to see somebody not hiding from their failures or their...
It's absolutely wild to think about how Megan used to defend him so passionately. She would go on and on about his pure soul and how vulnerable he could be, claiming she saw this deeper side to him that nobody else understood. She really thought she was seeing the real MGK, someone who wasn't afraid to show his pain and failures. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. The contrast between those loving declarations and the current situation is just staggering. The drama just kept escalating to new heights. Megan tried to calm the storm with this bizarrely cryptic Instagram post about there being no third-party interference, and get this, she specifically mentioned that this included AI bots and succubus demons. I mean, what kind of reality are we even living in? They supposedly tried counseling, with sources saying MGK was practically begging to make things work, but anyone with half a brain could see the tension between them at public appearances. Every awkward interaction, every forced smile, every strained moment was documented and analyzed by eagle-eyed fans.
A lot by the people who either want to see you in one way or aren't used to seeing you or want to see you in another way.
Right.
So how does that affect your decision making?
I try to just mainly I'm just happy that I'm working and that I'm still working and I continue to get these opportunities, but I try to make choices that are different from whatever project I was last working on, and this is definitely...
The industry insiders aren't holding back anymore, and what they're revealing is absolutely shocking to the core. The level of disrespect MGK has shown, especially during such a vulnerable time in their relationship, is just unconscionable. And according to multiple sources, this wasn't just about some random text she found. This was apparently part of a much larger pattern of emotional manipulation and disrespect that had been going on for far too long. Looking back now, all those quirky, unusual things we used to think were so romantic and edgy, the blood drinking, the over-the-top declarations of love, the constant drama, they're all being seen in a completely different light. One source close to Megan summed it up perfectly. What everyone thought was passionate love was actually just toxicity wearing a really good disguise.
Being like, crucifying me for being plastic or whatever. So if you were to ask her, she would be like, well, that's because she perpetuates an unhealthy standard of beauty, right? Mm-hmm. And so here I am, I'm gonna be fully transparent. Mm-hmm. I still won't win because there are some girls who have been transparent. I don't wanna bring people.
But wait, it gets even worse. Apparently, MGK was out here living his best single life at industry events while Megan was at home pregnant with their child. The absolute audacity is just breathtaking. Sources who work closely with both stars have revealed that he literally thought Megan's pregnancy meant he had a free pass to do whatever he wanted without consequences. Well, hasn't this whole situation just blown up spectacularly in his face? The fallout has been absolutely massive and far-reaching. major brands and companies are reportedly reconsidering their partnerships with MGK, especially those that were banking on their image as this edgy, modern power couple. Talk about karma coming back to bite you. Meanwhile, Megan's friends are beyond relieved that she's finally standing up for herself and refusing to tolerate this behavior anymore. As one longtime friend put it, she's been through enough. And honestly, that might be the understatement of the century.
Figure it out, and so like it took me all this time, and then I saw Lionel Richie coming, I was like, I saw an empty seat next to me, and I was like, please don't make this man sit next to this stupid seat. And he came over and he sat down and like, he like inspected it and touched it.
Yeah,
and then we were so close. I was scared to clap for Wayne Brady, so every time he made a joke, I just looked like I was unentertained. But it was just because I didn't want to.
What should have been the most beautiful and joyful time in their lives has transformed into this absolute nightmare of epic proportions. But Megan, she's finally putting herself and her baby first, focusing on maintaining her health and peace of mind during this crucial time. MGK's been pulling out all the stops trying to win her back. We're talking elaborate flower arrangements, heartfelt letters, desperate attempts to reach out through mutual friends. But Megan's not buying any of it anymore. This time is different. She's not just protecting herself, she's protecting her unborn child too. The real difference this time around? The stakes are higher than ever before. This isn't like their previous dramatic breakups where they could just kiss and make up after a few days of tension. With a baby on the way, Megan's finally seeing everything with complete clarity. She needs stability and security, not more drama and emotional chaos in her life.
I think it's sinister. I think it's evil. And I don't think people understand we've come to this place where we grasp like bullying is bad. But then when it comes to a celebrity, all of that is thrown out the window. Maybe it was worse back then. I actually don't think so. I think with the invention of social media, it's so accessible now that it's much worse. But
now everyone in Hollywood is buzzing about what comes next. We're talking custody arrangements, legal teams assembling, and all kinds of behind-the-scenes preparations. The timing of this whole mess, with Megan being pregnant, could have serious implications for any future custody battles. But here's a silver lining that's actually heartwarming. The entertainment industry is rallying behind Megan in an unprecedented way. High-profile figures are reaching out to offer their support, and people who might have stayed neutral before are now speaking up because, let's be real, who does this to their pregnant partner? Megan isn't just thinking about getting through tomorrow anymore. She's planning an entire new life, one that puts peace and stability first, not just for herself, but for all her children. This whole traumatic experience has completely transformed her perspective on everything. And honestly, it's about time.
Yeah.
Did you have that same experience?
Oh, mine was. Well, I remember walking up. It was a circle of about 20 people, and you're in the forest or in the jungle. You're dieting. They're not eating past 5 p.m. or drinking water or anything. And I was the last person to go up and take it. And I remember watching everybody go up and take theirs. They had one cup. And they get to me, and the shaman says something to the translator.
And there you have it, darlings. What started out as this intense, passionate romance full of blood rituals and dramatic declarations has ended in the most devastating way possible, with betrayal during what should have been their most united moment. While MGK's career hangs by a thread, Megan seems to be emerging from this chaos stronger than ever, supported by a community that's finally speaking up about everything they've witnessed over the years. The big question on everyone's lips isn't whether they'll get back together, it's how this very public meltdown will affect their futures, especially when it comes to co-parenting. As one source close to both of them so perfectly put it, and this really hits home, sometimes the most toxic relationships teach us the most valuable lessons. And Megan, she's definitely learned hers. This time, she's choosing herself and her baby over everything else. And honestly, we're all standing here cheering her on. Because sometimes the strongest thing you can do is walk away from a toxic situation even when your heart is breaking. And that's exactly what Megan Fox is doing, proving that even in Hollywood, there comes a point where enough is enough.